What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JC's Learning Edge. I'm so glad that you all are here. Now, on Wednesday in our midweek motivation, I kicked off my first series, my first lesson on my new series, Positioning My Mind for Success. And I shared that, success doesn't start in your hands, it starts in your head. We talked about just one of the three keys, which is awareness, just which means just being aware of your thoughts, because that's the first step to positioning your mind for success. But today I want to dive a little bit deeper because, as I said, awareness is just the beginning, it's just the first step. Imagine it as just a crack in the wall. But to build a foundation, we also need to look at our beliefs and our clarity. These three keys, awareness, beliefs, and clarity, form the starting point of real success. Now, that leads me to my first point, awareness. Now, this is just a quick recap for those who weren't here on Wednesday. Awareness basically means paying attention to what you're thinking and noticing the patterns that may be holding you back. Like I said on Wednesday, if a student constantly says, I'm not good at math, that thought becomes a limit and that limit becomes their reality. But once they become aware, they can challenge it and say, hold on, wait a minute. Maybe I just need more practice. You see, that's the power of awareness. You can't break free from a cycle until you see it. Awareness is what allows you to catch yourself and start shifting in the right direction. Now, my second point, which is beliefs versus limiting beliefs. You see, once you're aware of your thoughts, the next step is to deal with your beliefs, because your beliefs are extremely powerful. Beliefs help form your thoughts. You see, they can either push you forward or quietly hold you hostage. Think about Michael Jordan, and I think I've talked about him before. When he didn't make varsity basketball in high school, he could have believed, I'm not good enough, right? Maybe I'm not meant to play varsity. You see, that limiting belief would have ended his story right there. But instead, he believed, if I work harder, I can become undeniable. That mindset shift transformed rejection into fuel. And we all know where it led. And I'm thankful, actually, that he didn't just think he was not good enough, because then we wouldn't have his stories and all his highlights and all his memorabilia. So I'm thankful for that. But limiting beliefs will tell you things like, I'm not smart enough. People like me don't succeed, or I'll never measure up. But those aren't truths. They're nothing but limits, and limits can be replaced. The key is building empowering beliefs that say, with discipline, I can grow. With effort, I can improve. And with clarity, I can succeed. And remember this, limits, like fears, are often just an illusion. That's what Michael Jordan said at his Hall of Fame speech. Now, that leads me to my third point, clarity. You see, awareness opens your eyes, new beliefs fuel your motivation, but clarity sets your direction. I'm going to say that one more time. Awareness opens up your eyes, but new beliefs fuel your motivation, but clarity sets your direction. You see, success doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you're intentional. Think of it like a GPS. You can't get directions if you don't know where you're going. In the same way, your mind can't focus if you don't have a clear target. When you're vague about your goals, you waste energy. I'm going to say that again. When you are vague about your goals or just too general in your goals, you waste energy. But when you're clear, you give your mind something sharp to lock onto. For example, it's one thing to say, I want to do better in school. Everyone has said that, but that's too vague. But it's another thing if you say, I want to raise my GPA by 1 full point this semester. You see, that level of clarity gives your mind direction. And it's the difference between wandering and winning. You see, clarity removes the fog so you can see the path forward. I'm going to say that again. Clarity removes the fog so you can see your path forward. Now, these three keys, awareness, beliefs, and clarity, are just the foundation. They're the starting point of shifting your mindset. However, in my book, Graduating Half the Time, The Secrets of Self-Paced Learning, I dive deeper into these principles and I share practical strategies I use to help accelerate my education, but my success overall. See, it's not just about finishing school faster. It's about building a mindset that gets you results in whatever field you're in. And you can grab your copy today on Amazon. Go ahead and scan the QR code. I'm gonna leave that up for a second, and I'm gonna move on. And as you guys know, I always got to give you a challenge before I log off of here. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to pay attention to your thoughts. I want you to challenge your limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs, challenge them. And I want you to get crystal clear about one goal you want to hit. So pay attention to your thoughts, challenge your limiting beliefs, and then get crystal clear about one goal you want to hit. Because when you position your mind, you position your life. I'm going to say that again. When you position your mind, you position your life. Like I said before, you can have all the tips, all the strategies, all the techniques, but if your mind isn't positioned correctly, it all means nothing. Remember, when you position your mind, you position your life. And listen, you don't want to miss next week because we're going to go even further into this whole concept of positioning my mind for success. We're going to build on this foundation that we've laid today, and we're going to explore the new set of shifts that can unlock new levels of success in your life. And you don't want to miss that. And I always encourage you to bring a friend. And also, I encourage you not to just listen to what I'm telling you, but apply what I'm telling you. And that being said, remember, success does not shout, it shows up. And that being said, I'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Apply these strategies today. Trust me, you'll see a